SLT එක්ක ස්පීඩ් අප් වෙන්න සුපර් ඩීල්ස් අත්විඳින්න. SLT ස්පීඩ් අප් සුපර් ඩීල්ස් සැප්තැම්බර් 30 දක්වා පමණයි.
Making headlines tonight. The PM's greatest fear. Prime Minister questioned on the UNP'S presidential candidate says fears becoming victim of public ire.
Are you sure you won't tell me who the presidential candidate will be?
You know, Richard, I'm a bit frightened because every politician wants a top job and all of them have got frightened and they say, oh, all 225 must be thrown out.
AG orders probe. As Gotabaya Rajapaksa discharged from Avantgarde case, preliminary inquiry ordered into leaked telephone conversation. Public beware. Met Department warns of dangerous weather situation. Schools closed in the district of Gaul and Mathura. All this and much more coming up tonight on First at 9, this Monday, the 23rd of September, 2019.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
Nava Lifebuoy Cool Fresh සහ Lemon Fresh Menthol සහ Lemon සාරයෙන් දහඩිය කඳ ඇති කරන සැඟවුණු විස බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර ඔබව ෆ්‍රෙෂ් කරයි. විස බීජ off, fresh එක on.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
And the controversy and telephone conversation of the Avantgarde related matter continues to make headlines tonight as well, and we begin tonight's broadcast with the story on AdaDerana First at 9. Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira requested the Public Services Commission to launch a preliminary investigation into the leaked telephone conversation between Solicitor General Dilrukshi Dias Wickramasinghe and Avantgarde Chairman Nisanka Senadipati. The AG's coordinating officer, State Counsel Nishara Jayaratne, told AdaDerana that Senior Additional Solicitor General Sanjay Rajaratnam has been appointed to overlook the duties of Dilrukshi Dias Wickramasinghe, who has not been assigned any responsibilities. Jayaratne also pointed out that this request was made by the Attorney General as there are no higher officials at the department than the AG over the position of the Solicitor General.
කිසකෙස් යනවාද විසඳුම දින 6න් පුරාණයේ පටන් භාවිතා කරන ඉපැරණි ශාකසාර වට්ටුරුවකට අනුව නිපදවන ගණීෂා hair growth oil සියලුම ෆාමසි සහ වෙළඳ සැල් වලින්
Today refuted all allegations levelled at him by President Maithripala Sirisena with regard to the leaked phone conversation between Solicitor General Dilrukshi Dias Wickramasinghe and Avantgarde Chairman Nisanka Senadipati. Making a special statement today, Premier went on to insist that he has never acted in violation of the country's constitution.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා ව්‍යවස්ථාව අනුව ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණ විනිශ්චයකරුවන් පත් කිරීම පිළිබඳ ජනාධිපතිතුමාට නිර්දේශ ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමට බලය ඇත්තේ අග්‍ර විනිසුරුතුමාට සහ නීතිතුමාට පමණයි. මම කිසිවිටක ව්‍යවස්ථාවට පිටින් කටයුතු කර නැහැ. දිල්රුක්ෂි වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මිය හෝ වෙනත් කිසිම පුද්ගලයෙකු ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණ විනිශ්චයකාර තනතුරකට පත් කරන්න ඉල්ලමින් මම ලිපි යොමු කර නැහැ. දැනට නීතිපතිතුමා මේ ගැන පරීක්ෂණයක් කරන ලෙස රාජ්‍ය සේවා කොමිෂන් සභාවෙන් ඉල්ලීමක් කර තිබෙනවා. ඒ පරීක්ෂණය කඩිනම් කිරීම සුදුසුයි. එවිට බලපෑම් කළ දේශපාලඥයන් කවුරුන්දයි එලි කර ගැනීමට හැකි වේවි. දිල්රුක්ෂි වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මිය කිසි දිනක අරලියගහ මන්දිරයේ සේවය කර නැහැ. ඒ නිසා ජනාධිපතිතුමා කියූ කරුණු සත්‍යයෙන් තොර බව කරුණාවෙන් පෙන්වා දෙන්නට කැමති. ජනාධිපතිවරණය ප්‍රකාශයට පත් කිරීමෙන් පසුව එතුමා මේ ආකාරයට මා ඉලක්ක කරගෙන චෝදනා කරන්නට පටන් ගත්තේ කුමන හේතුවක් නිසාද කියා මම නම් දන්නේ නැහැ. අප පිළිබඳ සැක සංකා ඇතනම් වඩාත් යෝග්‍ය වන්නේ කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයේ ඒ ගැන සාකච්ඡා කිරීම. එක්කෝ පුද්ගලිකව විමසීමයි. එසේ නොමැතිව ප්‍රසිද්ධියේ ඒ ගැන මතපල කිරීම ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී පාලන ක්‍රමයට සුදුසු නොවන බව මගේ හැඟීමයි. එය වගකීම් සහගත ක්‍රියාවක්ද නෙවෙයි. ඒ වගේ මින් ඉදිරියට මට විරුද්ධව පිළිතුරව චෝදනා එල්ල කළොත් එසේ එල්ල කරන අවස්ථාවක් පාසා පිළිතුරු දීමට මම පුද්ගලිකව මැදිහත් වන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා චෝදනා තිබේ නම් ඒවා නිසිස්ථානයනි මතු කරන්න මෙන් මම සියලු පාර්ශ්වයන්ගෙම ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
In the wake of the controversial leaked phone call with avant-garde head Nisanka Senadipathy, chairman of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Professor G.L. Peiris, called on the Attorney General's Department to suspend Solicitor General Dilrukshi Das Wickramasinghe. Professor Peiris expressed these views at a media briefing in Colombo today.
එකම නඩුවක් සම්බන්ධයෙන් දිල්රුක්ෂි ඩයස් වික්‍රමසිංහ චෝදනා 7573ක් ඉදිරිපත් කළා. එතුමිය දැන් පිළි අරන් තියනවා මේක Tamanගේ කටහඬයි. එතුමියම කියනවා මේ නඩු දැම්මේ වෙන කිසිම හේතුවක් නිසා නෙවෙයි මේ කරුමක්කාර දේශපාලන නිසායි. එතුමියගේ හිතුවක්කාර අසාධාරණ නීති විරෝධී ක්‍රියාව නිසා රක්ෂා 4000ක් මේ රටේ මිනිස්සුන්ට නැති වුණා. ලෝකේ කොහෙද එවැනි පුද්ගලයෙක් චූදිතයෙකු සමග දුරකථන ඇමතුමක යෙදෙන්නේ? සංවාදයේ මොකක් කිව්වත් මොකක් නොකිව්වත් ඒ සංවාදයේම ඇති දිල්රුක්ෂි ඩයස් වික්‍රමසිංහ වහාම වැඩ නවත්තලා නීතිපති දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවෙන් එළියට යනවා. අස්කරන්න කියන්නේ දැනට වැඩ තහනම් කරන්න ඕනේ. වංචනික ලෙස කටයුතු කරන සියලුම නිලධාරීන්ට විරුද්ධව අපි දෙසැම්බර් මාසයේ පළවන සතියට පස්සේ ආණ්ඩුවක් හැදුවා. ඒ අයට විරුද්ධව අපි දැඩි ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගන්නවා.
Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the other respondents in the avant-garde floating armoury case were discharged. Colombo magistrate Lanka Jayaratna made this order when the case was taken up today after a copy of an appeals court acquittal order was produced, ruling that the manner in which the Bribery Commission had filed the lawsuit was deemed against the law.
The Bribery Commission filed a case with the Colombo Magistrates Court naming the former Defence Secretary and others as defendants for the alleged incurrence of 11.4 billion rupee loss to the government by allowing Avant-Garde Maritime Services Private Limited to maintain a floating armoury at the Golf Fort. The defendants in this case include Chairman of Avant-Garde Nisanka Senadipathy, former Additional Defence Secretary Damayanti Jayaratna and former Coordinating Secretary of the Ministry of Defence Major General Palitha Fernando. 3 former Navy commanders, Somatilaka Dissanayaka, Jayanath Kolambage and Jayanath Pereira were also named as defendants. However, the acquittal order advised the prosecution that there is no legal objection preventing the Bribery Commission from filing another case against the defendants if due processes of the law are followed. Following the acquittal, defence attorney of the 8th defendant of the case, Damayanti Jayaratna, moved the court to remove the arrest warrant issued on the former Defence Ministry Secretary, but the magistrate ordered that since the defendant had absconded, she must be produced in court before the recall can be made.
A special discussion between the leader of the United National Party, Prime Minister Ranil Wickramasinghe, Deputy Leader Minister SAJITH PREMADASA and Speaker Karu Jayasuriya is currently underway at the Speaker's official residence. The meeting, which began at 8 p.m. this evening, is reportedly focused on arriving at a decision regarding the party's presidential candidate. The Prime Minister and Minister Sajith Premadasa have both expressed willingness to run for presidential election, with Speaker Karu Jayasuriya also keen on joining the party. Meanwhile, Minister of Housing, Construction and Cultural Affairs Sajith Premadasa appeared before the Presidential Commission probing allegations of corruption and fraud in state institutions from the period of 2015 to 2018. The minister was summoned before the Commission after a complaint was received regarding alleged irregularities made when distributing appointments at the National Housing Development Authority. It was reported that the minister gave a 7-hour testimony. President Maithripala Sirisena says there has been a leap in development initiatives under his leadership, drawing special attention to government spending on the education sector. The President made these remarks at an event held in Polonnaruwa today.
President Maithripala Sirisena today declared open the newly constructed classroom building of the Sagala Mahavidyalaya in Polonnaruwa under the Awakening of Polonnaruwa project.
ජනාධිපතිවරයාට පත් වුණාට පස්සේ තමයි ලංකාවේ අධ්‍යාපනයට වැඩිම මුදලක් වැය කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඊට පෙර කිසිම ආණ්ඩුවක් වියදම් නොකරපු මුදලක් අපි අධ්‍යාපනයට වැය කරලා තිබෙනවා. විශ්වවිද්‍යාල අධ්‍යාපනයටත් එහෙමයි. වාර්ෂික බිලියන් 45ක් විතර වැය කරලා තිබුණේ. අපි ඒක බිලියන් 60 දක්වා ඉහළ නැග්ගා. අද රට වශයෙන් අපි විශාල සංවර්ධන කාර්යයන් රාශියක් ඉෂ්ට කරනවා.
Meanwhile, the president also declared open a new school building at the Nikapitia Primary School.
Well, we'll bring you details of the current weather situation and the dangers ahead after the short break. Welcome back to the news. With the onset of the southwest monsoon season, floods have been experienced across several locations in the island over the past 24 hours, with schools in the Gaul and Mathura districts ordered closed today and tomorrow. Meanwhile, the National Building Research Organisation issued a level 1 landslide warning for the Kalutara, Kegaul and Gaul districts, effective from 11:30 am tomorrow.
Several areas in Sri Lanka experienced heavy rain in the past 24 hours, with the southern, Sabaragamo, central and western provinces recording a rainfall of over 100 millimetres. The north, northwestern and eastern provinces too were not spared by the torrential downpour, as flooding was reported from several areas. Kokmadu and NILWALA, situated along the southern expressway, experienced flooding owing to the heavy rains experienced in the area. According to our correspondent, water levels of the GING river in Baddegama rose 3.8 metres and is on the verge of breaking its banks. Furthermore, several roads in Gaul town were inundated by heavy rain. In Mathura district, several areas were left inundated due to the NILWALA river breaking its banks. As a result, Southern Province Governor Hema Gunasekara stated that all schools in Gaul and Mathura districts will be closed on the 24th and 25th of September. 2 houses were buried by landslide in Kokavala, Navala in the area of Vandurumba today, leading to the death of a 36-year-old woman. Meanwhile, the National Building Research Organisation has issued a landslide early warning for certain areas in Kalutara, Kegaul and Gaul districts. The level 1 warning has been issued effective from 11:30 am today to 11:30 am tomorrow in several areas of the Kalutara, Kegaul and Gaul districts. Speaking to First at 9, Assistant Director of Disaster Management Centre Pradeep Kodipilli warned that residents residing in close proximity to the GING River and NILWALA River to remain vigilant due to the inclement weather.
The water levels are rising rapidly in the GING and the NILWALA. Especially, we have warned for some extent of evacuation at the GING and some areas of the Tavalam and Baddegama. So the Panadugama at NILWALA is having a major flood situation, and we have been advised to be moved from these locations. So the 117 call center number is completely open. The very bad weather situation is prevailing on, especially in Gaul and Mathura district. People beside the rivers, especially at the NILWALA and the GING river, so they need to be very vigilant with that particular situation.
Taking you to business news. Speaking to international media figure Richard Quest at an event in Colombo today, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was of the view that the government needs to provide more leeway to the private sector by reducing restrictions and regulations that shackle the industry. He added that the private sector must take the lead in the development of the sector and must not be too dependent on the government to do so as in the past.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was the chief guest at the annual 2019 Cinnamon Hotels Future of Tourism Summit held in Colombo today. The highlight of the summit was a discussion between the Prime Minister and CNN's international business correspondent Richard Quest, host of the program Quest Means Business.
When are you going to announce your presidential candidate?
Very soon.
Very soon. You're going to tell me you can guarantee that the country is safe. How can you do that?
We were looking at terrorism in general, but I wouldn't say that we had given prior to ISIS. We are now giving to the extreme elements, but there are others also who are on the border lines as far as preaching hate is concerned.
There are numerous investigations taking place at different levels. Can you guarantee that the full story will be made public?
Certainly, the Parliamentary Select Committee report will be made public. And now there's also a request by His Eminence the Cardinal for the appointment of a commission. And certainly, I wouldn't mind another inquiry.
You set the parameters, but the private sector has to deliver the product. So what do you view as your role?
We've got to set the parameters. Should it be 5 million in 2 years, or should we plan longer for the infrastructure, build up the experience? Then thereafter, the trade must take over. What's happened in Sri Lanka, unfortunately, is at the very inception in the late 60s, government played a leading role. Many people still expect the government to play the leading role.
So you think, to some extent, government has been seen as it's responsible for all?
Yeah, the government also must get out of it and not try to regulate too much.
I suggest that government wants it both ways. What you say is, we can no longer do this. It has to be the private sector. But the private sector is shackled with one hand tied behind its back and a patch over one eye because government still interferes.
No, we have to take this off, and we have to have a single window for investments. Clearances must come in quickly. So there are things that government has been moving on, but I do agree that there are issues that the government must get out of. There were too much of restrictions in the building areas. We must have a quick policy, say these areas are for low-rise, these are for high-rise hotels. Second is the problem they are having with local authorities.
One of the issues people tell me about is the need for a national campaign post the attacks, and it's seemingly taking a long time for the government to approve this.
It has taken some time. I've been doing some of the pushing. I think the Treasury has agreed we've got to move the other agencies along. It has taken a long time, too long, I would say.
Prime Minister, does Sri Lanka need a national airline?
We need a national airline, but we've got to, it doesn't mean the national airline has to be government-owned. I think we should have a private management of the national airlines. National airline must focus on a few routes and allow the rest to be brought in.
Are you sure you won't tell me who the presidential candidate will be?
You know, Richard, I'm a bit frightened because every politician wants a top job and all of them have got frightened and they say, oh, all 225 must be thrown out.
Former permanent representative to the United Nations in Geneva, Dr. Palitha Kohona, says that with the world's economic focus shifting to Asia, Sri Lanka's economic survival will largely depend on its relations with Asian nations, particularly emerging superpower and neighbour India. Speaking at an event organised by the Organisation of Professional Associations in line with their 32nd annual conference recently, Dr. Palitha Kohona went on to say that Sri Lanka should maintain a stable and comfortable relationship with neighbouring India or bear the consequences.
In more recent times, we have followed a very firm and independent foreign policy. It didn't mean that we were neutral. We had views on issues. Sri Lanka was a trusted partner in the international arena. Reliability is something that is very important in international relations. It is also to be remembered that chopping and changing or taking U-turns is something that is not kindly regarded in international relations. The one thing constant in a country's policies is its foreign policy. The world economy has undergone a tremendous change. The traditional mindset of turning to the West needs to be modified because the world economic focus has definitely shifted from the US and Europe to East Asia. Our own economic survival will depend to a large extent on how we manage our relations. It's very important to keep in mind that India should be the prominent feature in foreign policy formulation in this country. It's our closest neighbor. Unless we have a stable and comfortable relationship with India, we will have to pay a price that we cannot bear.
Fitch Ratings has meanwhile assigned a final B rating to Sri Lankan Airlines, $175 million government guaranteed 7% unsecured bonds due on the 25th of June 2024. The B rating is an indicator that material default risk is present, but a limited margin of safety remains and financial commitments are currently being met. However, capacity for continued payments is vulnerable to deterioration in the business and economic environment. The final rating on the bond is in line with the expected rating assigned on 19 June 2019 and follows the receipt of final documents conforming to information received earlier. Fitch has rated Sri Lankan Airlines US dollar bonds at the same level as the sovereign rating due to the unconditional and irrevocable guarantee provided by the government. The rating is not derived from Sri Lankan's standalone credit profile and thus is not comparable with that of its industry peers. Also, the rating on Sri Lankan bonds is derived from the rating of an entity covered by a group that does not assign recovery ratings. As a result, no recovery rating was assigned. Peter Frankhauser, the chief executive of Thomas Cook, apologized for the liquidation of the world's oldest travel company, which left thousands of passengers stranded around the globe and sparked the largest peacetime repatriation efforts in British history.
First, I want to apologize to my 21,000 colleagues who I know will be heartbroken. You all fought so hard to make Thomas Cook a success. Secondly, I would like to say sorry to all our customers, those who are on holiday with us now and those who have booked with us in the coming months. My colleagues will be working with the CAA to help with the repatriation. Finally, I would like to apologize to the many thousands of hoteliers and suppliers who have stuck by our business in good times and in bad, and who now face difficult financial choices of their own.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson pledged to get stranded British travellers home and revealed that the government had rejected a request from Thomas Cook for a bailout of about £150 million because doing so would have set up a moral hazard. The firm ran hotels, resorts and airlines for 19 million travellers a year in 16 countries, generating revenue in 2018 of £9.6 billion. It currently has 600,000 people abroad, including more than 150,000 British citizens. Thomas Cook employs 21,000 people and is the world's oldest travel company, founded in 1841. The company has £1.7 billion of debt.
Taking you to the Colombo Stock Exchange, equities closed lower today with the all-share price index edging down 0.3% at 5,776.48, while the more liquid S&P SL 20 index, consisting of the 20 most liquid companies on the Colombo Stock Exchange, fell 0.23% or 6,000 to 6,000, or rather 2,759.75. Market turnover, meanwhile, was 485.6 million rupees, less than this year's daily average of about 670 million rupees so far. And this year to date, the Colombo Stock Exchange has dropped 4.72%. And in the currency market, the Sri Lankan rupee closed weaker for a sixth straight session. The rupee closed 0.1% weaker at 181.30 to 181.70 against the US dollar, compared with Friday's close of 181.10 to 181.20. Here's a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee traded against other major currencies across the globe today. With the World Gorilla Day to be marked tomorrow, First at 9 has a special piece after this break. The mountain gorilla is one of the most physically imposing animals in the world, but yet one of its most endangered species, with only 1,004 animals in existence. This is why conservationists from across the globe have come together since year 2010 to grow and protect gorilla populations whose native habitats lie in the heart of Central Africa. Rwanda's annual gorilla naming ceremony is one such event recognized globally as an important feature within these efforts. In line with World Gorilla Day tomorrow, First at 9 brings you a story about this year's ceremony where Sri Lanka was represented by philanthropist and businesswoman Otara Gunawardena.
Naming newborn babies has been one of the most important events in Rwandan culture for centuries. Following this, the government of Rwanda and the Rwandan Development Board have used naming ceremonies known as Kwita Izina to highlight their conservation efforts of Rwanda's mountain gorillas for the past 15 years now. The tradition was first introduced in 2005 to highlight the importance of protection of these endangered mountain gorillas and recognize the role of those who have dedicated their lives for their care. On 5th September this year, over 25,000 international conservationists, celebrities, philanthropists and Rwandans came together for the 15th edition of the annual gorilla naming ceremony held in Kinigi, Rwanda. Among the 25 carefully chosen gorilla namers were United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, supermodel Naomi Campbell, American R&B singer Neo and soccer legend Tony Adams. The gorilla namers also included our very own philanthropist and businesswoman, Otara Gunawardena.
I have decided to name my baby gorilla Kira. It's actually named after my two sons, Kiran and Rakil, and it happens to mean bless you with wealth in your language.
She spoke to First at 9 on efforts that Sri Lanka need to focus on to protect and conserve our precious wildlife.
For the gorillas, it's all from the point of the gorilla, like their well-being is thought of first. Then it's the tourist or the visitor, that's thought about, which many countries sometimes don't do, including us. And I think that's the change that's needed everywhere, really. For us, even where the development is concerned, I believe that we should be looking at that first, like our wildlife and our natural heritage and all the forests, and all the development and everything should be around that, so that we don't disturb the corridors of the elephants and the habitats of the leopards. I think it's really important that a master plan is done for what areas should not be touched. I strongly believe that we can live in harmony. We should not be having a human-elephant conflict if we manage it properly.
Taking you to international news, videos of unusual red skies over the Indonesian province of Jambi are creating quite an uproar on social media as Indonesia battles severe haze caused by forest fires. The videos uploaded on social media showed an almost mountain-like red landscape caused by what a meteorology expert says is the relay scattering, a phenomenon caused by a concentration of micro-parasites in the haze. Iran showcased its military powers on yesterday, showcasing its array of warships and missiles to mark the 39th anniversary of the beginning of the Iraqi-Iran war in the face of veiled threats from the United States and Saudi Arabia regarding its alleged hand in the Houthi attack on Saudi oil facilities. The head of Iran's Navy said on Sunday that the Islamic rebel Republic is ready to defend its marine borders and would deliver a crushing reaction to any aggression. In sports, a spirited Wales showcased brilliant form as they outclassed Georgia from the opening kick at the Rugby World Cup 2019, running in 6 tries to 2 to take a bonus point in their Pool D match at the City of Toyota Stadium on Monday. The 2019 Six Nations Grand Slam Championships punched holes in the Georgia defence throughout the first half, and Georgia rallied in the second with 2 tries, but it came too late. Wales next face Australia in a thriller on the 29th. That's all from us here tonight. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.